ever felt that that nagging sense of just being stuck?
Mm-hmm.
Like your past, maybe your upbringing, or just, the circumstances you landed in are somehow holding you back from really living?
Yeah, I think everyone feels that sometimes.
And deep down, do you ever wish someone would just give it to you straight? Like, no sugarcoating, no platitudes, just the raw truth.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need the direct hit.
Well, today we are plunging headfirst into a book that promises exactly that. We're doing a deep dive into Ichiro Kyoshimi and Fumitake Koga's The Courage to be Disliked, Adlerian Freedom Principles.
Great book. Really provocative.
Totally. And let me be clear, don't let that title fool you into thinking it's, like, gentle. This is not your typical comforting self-help book that just pats you on the back.
No, not at all.
The source material itself doesn't pull any punches. It describes its own approach as a raw, individualistic take that effectively challenges the foundational ideas of Freud and Jung. Almost like it slaps them in the face, is how they put it.
Right. It's deliberately contrarian in some ways.
Its core mission is just laser-focused, to tell you, the reader, to quit blaming your childhood, your trauma, your parents, and the world.
Wow. Straight out of the gate.
Exactly. So we're going to meticulously unpack these, pretty challenging principles. We'll dissect what it really means to take that kind of uncompromising responsibility for your life and, maybe unlock a profound sense of freedom doing it.
And that uncompromising directness, that's precisely what makes this deep dive so potent and relevant, I think, for anyone grappling with these big questions. The book itself is structured really cleverly, actually. It's a philosophical dialogue, basically a debate between this wise, kind of unyielding philosopher and a skeptical, often pretty frustrated young student.
Yeah, you really feel the tension there.
You do.
Yeah.
And that format is brilliant because it lets them explore all those common mental roadblocks.
Yeah.
Those excuses we all kind of build up for ourselves.
Right.
So our mission today is really to unpack these principles of Adlerian psychology. They can be confronting, sometimes even like jarring. And we're here to help you navigate the book's stark truths, its surprising insights. It doesn't matter if you've never even heard of Alfred Adler before. Think of this as your essential shortcut.
Okay.
Like a highly concentrated dose of these powerful, truly unfiltered ideas. We want to get you straight to the core of what these authors are trying to say.
Yeah. Get past the surface.
Exactly. So you'll come away equipped not just to understand the message, but to really grasp its depth and, crucially, its practical implications for your own life.
Okay, let's unpack this with, the force of a tidal wave, because the courage to be disliked doesn't just open a door.
Yeah.
It kicks it right off its hinges. With one of its most audacious claims right there in Chapter 1, trauma doesn't exist in the way you think it does.
No. Yeah, that's the one that stops people in their tracks.
I mean, if that doesn't make you sit up and pay attention, I don't know what will. It's just such a radical, almost heretical departure from pretty much every common psychological narrative we've absorbed.
Right. Everything we hear usually points backwards.
Exactly. Most of us are taught, explicitly or implicitly, look back, explore the past, understand the wounds, the scars, the formative stuff, and how it's irrevocably shaped who we are now.
Freud, Jung, that whole tradition.
Yeah, they anchor their theories in those indelible marks from childhood, past events. But Adler, or at least Adler as Kyoshimi and Koga, present him with such raw clarity. They just rip that Band-Aid right off. They assert a completely different foundational truth.
It's incredibly direct. And yeah, for many, it feels deeply unsettling. But it's crucial to get the nuance here.
Okay.
The Adlerian perspective, the way the philosopher lays it out in Chapter 1, it's not about denying that difficult, painful, even horrific things happen to you.
Right, it's not gaslighting.
Exactly. It's not invalidating your suffering. What it states, unequivocally, is that it's not the past itself that holds you back, but the story you're telling yourself about it. That's the core argument.
And the narrative we construct.
Precisely. So the student in the book, like probably many of us listening, right, he naturally pushes back that human cry. But bad things happen to me. That's why I'm miserable. That's why I can't move forward.
Yeah, that feels like a very normal reaction.
Totally normal. And the philosopher's response is just utterly blunt. Shockingly so. The book literally says, he replies, "Bullshit, you're using the past as an excuse."
Wow. Okay, no punches pulled there.
Zero. See, it's not a dismissal of the pain. It's a radical reframe of agency. This is where the cornerstone concept of purpose-driven behavior comes in. Adler believed we're not just reacting to past causes,
Mm-hmm.
but that our present feelings and behaviors are actually chosen to serve a future goal, or rather, a present goal,
Chosen, even misery.
even misery. So your current misery isn't seen as a direct, inevitable consequence of past trauma. It's viewed as a choice you're making, often unconsciously, to serve a present purpose.
Like what kind of purpose?
Well, for instance, you might be choosing misery to gain sympathy from others,
Right.
or to get special attention. Or maybe, and this is a big one, to avoid the discomfort and uncertainty, the potential failure that comes with real change, with taking risks.
Okay, so it shifts the question entirely.
Completely. It goes from why am I anxious because of X past event to what am I gaining by being anxious right now? What purpose does this anxiety serve for me in the present?
That's a really different way to look at it.
It is. Our emotions aren't just passive reactions.
Right.
They can be active tools we unconsciously use to navigate our current world. It's profound, maybe deeply uncomfortable, but it strips away the comfort of victimhood and puts control firmly in the present moment.
And that's why the core takeaway here is so liberating, maybe. Even if it feels like a punch to the gut at first for people used to the other story.
Right.
You are responsible for how you live now, not your parents, not your past.
That's the essence of it.
This idea that your current state, your unhappiness, your struggles, aren't dictated by some historical event, some old wound, but by your present choices, it's incredibly challenging, maybe even offensive for some.
It can definitely feel that way. We're conditioned otherwise.
Yeah, through pop culture, therapy, our own internal stories. We look for external reasons, root causes outside our immediate control. I'm this way because of my family, or my trauma stops me trusting people.
Standard narratives.
But Adler's philosophy here just forces you to confront the idea that the power to change, the power to choose differently, isn't just within you. It's a choice you're actively making continuously every moment.
It takes away that safety net.
It strips away the comforting, maybe but disempowering cloak of victimhood, and it places the burden and also the profound glory of agency squarely on your shoulders. It's an invitation to see your own capacity for self-determination.
Exactly. And I think for many listeners, this is where a truly profound aha moment can happen.
Right.
It's that stark realization. You absolutely cannot change what happened in the past. Impossible. But you absolutely, definitively can change your interpretation of it.
Okay.
And more importantly, your present actions and your future path. It's that uncomfortable truth that comes with immense liberating power.
So it's not about forgetting, but reframing.
Precisely. When you stop seeing yourself as just a passive product of past experiences and start recognizing you have active agency to decide your present and shape your future, well, you gain an incredible amount of control, almost overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of responsibility.
It is. Yes, this freedom comes hand in hand with the weight of full responsibility for your choices, no doubt. But it also offers a genuine path to personal freedom that just endlessly analyzing past wounds or blaming circumstances often fails to provide.
It changes the question.
It shifts the focus from, why did this happen to me, to, okay, what will I do now?
Okay. So Adler takes our past off the hook, or at least redefines its power. But what about our present struggles? Because, I mean, for many of us, our problems feel so tied up with other people, right? Relationships?
Absolutely. They feel very relational.
Does Adler agree with that? Because the book hits you immediately with its next huge claim. The root of every problem in your life comes down to relationships.
Every single one. Yeah, that's another big statement.
Think about that. It's not just personal failings or internal battles in isolation. The book says things like loneliness, chronic anxiety, even self-hate. They are fundamentally, inextricably linked to how we navigate our social world. They stem directly from social comparison, maybe resentment we feel towards others or towards ourselves because of others, or just the raw pain of rejection. It makes you look at your inner turmoil through this, like, very external, sometimes uncomfortable lens.
It's a critical shift, isn't it?
Yeah.
And often overlooked. We tend to pathologize internal state, like what's wrong with me? But Adler brings it right back to our fundamental nature as social creatures. And within that framework, the book reveals what it calls a harsh truth, one that's, well, profoundly insightful and often rings uncomfortably true.
Okay, what's the harsh truth?
You aren't afraid of failing. You're afraid of being seen failing.
Oof. Okay. Yeah, I feel that.
Right. It hits home for a lot of people. And this isn't just a minor psychological point. It has profound, often paralyzing implications for how we live. what risks we take, what creative stuff we pursue, what ambitions we even dare to admit to.
How many ideas die because of that fear?
Exactly. How many passions get abandoned because someone was terrified of being seen as inadequate or
Yeah.
facing judgment? The student in the dialogue, reflecting that common human desire, pushes back, right? But I want to be liked. I need approval. My self-worth feels tied to it.
It feels very real.
Very real. And the philosopher's response is, again, just unsparing, totally unfiltered, cuts right to the core. Needing to be liked is slavery. You're giving your life away for a thumbs up.
Slavery, wow, that's intense.
It's an incredibly direct, almost brutal metaphor, equating that relentless chase for approval with a literal loss of personal freedom, a voluntary surrender of your own will, your autonomy, to the whims of others. It really forces you to confront the cost of that constant performance.
And that is the liberating, though maybe jarring at first, takeaway here. A truly unfiltered truth. Want less approval, need fewer people, live freer.
Simple, but radical.
This perspective, if you really take it on board, could fundamentally shift your entire approach to social life, career choices, even your deepest sense of self-worth. If your self-esteem, your value, isn't tied to the fleeting, often fickle opinions of others, suddenly the world just opens up. Astonishingly.
And we're constantly walking on eggshells.
No more tailoring yourself, your words, your actions, even your authentic self, just to get that fleeting thumbs up, that quick, like that pat on the head.
Yeah, it cuts deep because we are so wired, culturally, socially, maybe even evolutionarily, to seek acceptance, to belong.
Right. But the book says that pursuit, that desperate craving for universal approval, it's a trap, a gilded cage. And real freedom lies in consciously escaping it. It's about untangling your identity from external validation.
It's about truly understanding the often hidden, profound cost of constantly seeking that validation. And what's fascinating is how it encourages each of us to critically look at our own underlying motivations.
Like, why am I really doing this?
Exactly. Are you pursuing a goal, starting a project, choosing a career because it genuinely, authentically aligns with your intrinsic values, your deep desires? Or are you mostly doing it to impress someone, to earn praise, to avoid criticism, to project a certain image? It prompts you to ask, am I seeking true connection? Which, inherently requires vulnerability, authenticity, being willing to be seen, flaws and all.
Right.
Or am I just seeking validation? Which often leads to building that carefully curated, maybe an authentic self, designed purely for external consumption.
To highlight real life.
Totally. And when you fully grasp the stark difference between those two paths and the immense energy you pour into the second one, well, the idea of wanting less approval, needing fewer people to sign off on your existence, suddenly becomes incredibly appealing. It offers a path to deeper, more meaningful, far more respectful relationships based on mutual understanding, not performance.
Okay, building right on that powerful theme of external validation, the book explores what it flat out calls the trap of living to be recognized.
Yeah, the recognition trap.
It paints this vivid, frankly brutal picture of a life that, quote, looks good on Instagram but feels like hell.
Ouch. Too real for many, I suspect.
Totally. You know the image, the meticulously curated perfection, the highlight reel everyone sees, the facade of success, happiness, but behind the scenes, you feel hollow, anxious, utterly exhausted by the relentless performance.
It's such a resonant image because it confronts the performative, often soul-sucking nature of so much modern life, especially like in our hyper-connected, validation-hungry digital world.
A life lived for the optics, not the actual feeling.
Exactly. And this is precisely where the philosopher's mic drop comes in. A statement that just forces you, with uncompromising directness, to check your ego at the door.
What is it?
You are not the center of the world.
Simple. Direct. Ouch again.
Right. This stark declaration challenges those deep-seated, egocentric tendencies many of us have, especially in a world that often actively encourages self-obsession, personal branding. The constant craving for validation, for applause, for being seen. It stems from this fundamental, often unconscious belief that our worth is determined solely by how others see us, that our efforts only matter if they're acknowledged, seen, applauded by an audience.
So the student pushes back again.
Naturally, he struggles, voices that very human plea. But I want my effort to be seen. I want my hard work to be recognized. A plea for validation, for external proof that our efforts have value.
Makes sense.
But the philosopher's response is firm, direct, leaves absolutely no room for debate. Your effort is your business. Recognition is not.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Detachment.
Complete detachment. This is about the profound, liberating importance of completely separating your self-worth from external outcomes and, crucially, from external validation. Your work, your effort, your journey, these are valuable for you, intrinsically rewarding, whether anyone else notices, approves, celebrates, or even gets it.
Puts the focus back inside.
Squarely back on intrinsic motivation.
Yeah.
Doing something for the joy of doing it, the internal satisfaction of growth, of contribution, rather than for that fleeting dopamine hit of external praise.
So the practical, totally unapologetic takeaway for you, the listener, is crystal clear. Do good work for yourself, not for applause.
That's it in a nutshell.
This simple but radical statement just fundamentally shifts your focus away from external metrics, the likes, the reviews, the awards, the public praise, towards internal satisfaction and purpose. It's about finding meaning and fulfillment in the act itself, in the process, in the growth, rather than waiting for or depending on the reaction it gets from others. Imagine how much freer your creative work, your job, your personal projects, even just your daily tasks could feel if you genuinely embrace that.
Yeah, taking the pressure off.
If doing the work, striving for excellence for its own sake, was its own complete and sufficient reward, it lets you build a life that feels authentic, fulfilling to you, driven by your values, not designed to impress some invisible audience or meet some external standard.
What stands out there and what's so challenging for many is how directly it confronts our inherent, often pervasive desire for recognition.
Yeah, we want the credit.
We do. But when we manage to detach our effort, our passion, our actions from the expectation of applause, we're left with the pure essence of our motivation. So consider this question for yourself. What would your work, your passion project, your daily efforts look like if no one ever saw it?
Interesting thought experiment.
Right? No social media posts, no boss reviewing it, no friends praising it, no family acknowledging it. Would you still do it? With the same dedication,
Right.
the same passion, the same care.
That really highlights the difference, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Between genuine intrinsic motivation, doing it for the pure joy, the challenge, the internal purpose, versus extrinsic motivation, where the main reward comes from outside. Yeah. When we strip away that constant, exhausting need for external recognition, we're left with the pure, unadulterated core of our true purpose. And that, Adler suggests, can be an incredibly powerful, deeply liberating place to operate from.
Now, here's a source of stress the book identifies that, I think. Well, it resonates with almost everyone, universally.
Okay.
Most of your stress comes from doing other people's emotional labor.
Oof. Yeah, that is hard too.
Just sit with that for a second. How many times have you felt drained, maybe resentful, or just perpetually anxious because you're actively trying to manage someone else's feelings, anticipate their expectations, solve their problems, shoulder their responsibilities?
It's time for some people.
The book zeroes right in on this insidious dynamic. Cuts through the social niceties, the unspoken rules, to identify this huge, often debilitating burden we carry unnecessarily. And it's to our own detriment.
And this uncomfortable truth leads straight to what the book calls the crucial liberating philosopher rule, which is, ask whose task is this?
Simple question.
Deceptively simple. It's designed as a powerful, almost brutally effective boundary-setting tool, a moment of radical clarity.
Okay.
The book gives a very specific, very raw example to drive it home. It's not your job to make your parents proud. That's their emotional burden, not yours.
Whoa, okay, that goes against a lot of conditioning.
A ton of societal pressure, familial expectations, cultural narratives that make us feel responsible, even obligated, for others' happiness, their achievements, their approval of us.
So what's the pushback?
Predictably, the student raises that common concern. But won't people think I'm selfish? Won't they see me as uncaring?
Yeah, the fear of judgment again.
Exactly. And the philosopher's response is, yet again, completely direct, uncompromising, cuts through any doubt. Let them. That's their task.
Just let them think it.
Let them think it. It's not advocating for callousness or indifference. It's about a radical recognition that how others perceive your actions, especially when you're setting healthy, necessary boundaries for your own well-being, that perception is their interpretation, their emotional response, and therefore, fundamentally, their burden, not yours.
That's a huge shift in responsibility.
Huge. It's a profound concept for reclaiming personal peace, preventing burnout, and fostering genuine adult relationships built on respect for individual autonomy.
This unfiltered approach, it really delivers a liberating takeaway, an unvarnished truth. Handle your life, let others handle theirs.
Own your stuff. Let them own theirs.
It's about this unapologetic, unwavering commitment to your own peace, your well-being, your authentic path, Imagine the sheer mental space you'd free up, the emotional energy you'd reclaim, if you genuinely stopped shouldering responsibility for other people's feelings, choices, tasks.
It would be enormous.
Doesn't mean being aloof or uncaring.
Right. Not all.
It means establishing crystal clear boundaries, understanding what truly belongs to you and what belongs solely to someone else. It's a powerful tool for drastically reducing stress, cultivating clearer, healthier, more honest relationships, and truly living your own life, unburdened.
It gives you permission. Permission to say no, to step back, to let others face their own challenges, experience their own joys, learn from their own mistakes, without you constantly intervening, rescuing, or feeling personally responsible for their outcome. It's a profound act of self-respect.
Yeah.
This concept, the separation of tasks, it profoundly challenges that common tendency towards, like, over-responsibility codependency,
Right.
the unconscious belief we had to fix or control others.
Right.
It prompts each of us to diligently identify where in our lives we might be carrying tasks, emotional, practical, financial, whatever, that aren't truly ours to bear.
Think about those conversations you dread.
Exactly. The favors you resentfully agree to, the unspoken expectations you desperately try to meet, the problems you rush to solve for others. What would it genuinely mean for your own mental bandwidth, your resilience, your energy, to consciously, compassionately set those burdens down?
It's not indifference.
No, it's not abandonment. It's a deep recognition of where your sphere of influence authentically ends and another person's truly begins. It's radical self-care, a profound assertion of personal autonomy. And it invites relationships built on mutual respect and individual agency, not obligation, guilt, or simmering resentment. It frees you up to focus on what you can actually control, your own actions and reactions.
Okay, now, if the courage to be disliked hasn't already pushed your core beliefs to the absolute limit,
Uh-oh.
here comes what might be its most counterintuitive yet absolutely central message, a truly uncomfortable truth. If you're trying to be universally liked, you're playing a losing game.
Yes, the big one.
From the moment we're little, we are conditioned parents, teachers, peers, society seek approval, fit in, be liked, be popular. This statement just flies directly in the face of that fundamental, deep-seated human drive.
It really does.
It suggests the very pursuit of universal likability isn't just futile, impossible, but actually detrimental to your personal freedom and authenticity. It's a trap that suffocates the self.
And this is where the philosopher truth bomb lands with its full, unmitigated force. Freedom lies in being disliked.
Freedom in being disliked. How does that even work? It sounds awful.
Well, why is it so incredibly difficult for so many to accept or even grasp intellectually, let alone embrace?
Because being disliked feels like failure, rejection.
Yeah, exactly. Our society often equates popularity with success, belonging, being good enough. Being disliked often feels like failure, social exile, being somehow wrong. We're constantly bombarded with messages, subtle and not so subtle, encouraging conformity, seeking validation, avoiding disapproval at all costs.
So the student must hate this idea.
Totally. His reaction is perfectly understandable, deeply relatable. But I want peace with everyone. I want to live in harmony. It's a natural desire, isn't it? Avoid conflict, foster harmony, be accepted.
Of course.
But the philosopher's reply is unsparing, direct, pretty raw again. Grow up. You're not that important. You will be disliked by someone. Get over it.
Wow. Grow up. That's harsh.
It sounds harsh, but it's not meant to be cruel or dismissive of your inherent worth. Quite the opposite. It's meant to be incredibly empowering.
How?
It strips away the comforting, but ultimately debilitating illusion that you can control everyone's opinion of you or that your worth depends on it. And in doing that, it frees you from the exhausting, never-ending effort of trying to please absolutely everyone.
So accepting the inevitability is freeing.
Hugely freeing. When you truly internalize that it's simply impossible to win universal approval, that some people will dislike you no matter what you say or do, you gain an immense, profound sense of liberation. You're no longer held hostage by the capricious opinions or judgments of others. You reclaim your autonomy.
And that reinforcement of the core takeaway, that unvarnished truth, is really powerful then. Peace comes from self-respect, not approval.
That's the heart of it.
This is the essence of living an authentic, congruent life, free from the constant, exhausting, ultimately futile need to please everyone else.
Right.
When you prioritize and deeply value your own integrity, your choices, your path, your internal compass, more than external validation or the crowd's applause, That's where genuine, lasting peace truly resides.
It allows you to align your actions with your values.
Instead of constantly calibrating them to what you think will get applause or avoid criticism, it's about cultivating the unwavering courage to stand firm in who you are, what you believe, how you choose to live, even if some people won't like it, even if some actively disapprove.
And paradoxically,
Yeah.
that deep-seated self-respect often attracts the right people anyway. People who genuinely appreciate you for who you truly are, your authentic self, not the carefully constructed, approval-seeking version.
That makes sense. So it's an urgent invitation then to critically examine the hidden costs.
Exactly. The insidious costs of constantly seeking approval. Think about the compromises you might make, the dreams you defer, the authentic self you suppress, the discomfort you tolerate. All in that desperate pursuit of being liked by everyone.
What freedom could you gain by letting go?
What profound freedom might you genuinely gain by consciously, courageously letting go of that pursuit entirely? The philosopher's blunt, grow up, you're not that important, get over it, isn't a harsh dismissal, but a radical, compassionate acceptance of reality. It's the ultimate permission slip to be yourself, flaws and all, without the crushing burden of universal appeal.
Redirects your energy.
Empowers you to redirect your precious energy toward what truly matters to you, what fuels your purpose, rather than wasting it on an impossible quest for everyone's affection. It's choosing internal integrity over external popularity and finding liberation in that choice.
Okay, shifting focus now. Away from external validation, the tyranny of others' opinions. The book challenges a very conventional, almost universally accepted idea: the pursuit of happiness itself.
Ah, yes, the happiness chase.
It states directly, with absolute clarity, chasing happiness as a destination is the reason you never find it.
Mm-hmm. A hamster wheel.
Think about how much of our lives are spent striving for some elusive future point where we'll finally be happy. After the promotion, the dream house, the perfect partner, the big goal, retirement.
The finish line mentality.
Exactly. The book argues, with piercing insight, that this very mindset, this future conditional approach to happiness, paradoxically stops us from ever truly experiencing it here and now. It's always just over the horizon.
The philosopher's view here is a fundamental, radical rejection of that future-oriented, conditional happiness model.
Okay.
They contend, with bold conviction, life has no universal meaning. It's up to you to live it fully now, not after success, money, or retirement.
Whoa. Life has no universal meaning. That's stark.
It is stark, a provocative contrast to so many self-help narratives that encourage grand life plans, setting specific goals, pursuing achievement as the sole path to fulfillment.
So the student must ask about purpose, right?
Exactly, the pushback is relatable. But what about purpose? Doesn't life need a grand purpose? It's that natural human quest for meaning.
Yeah.
But the philosopher's radical suggestion is, stop aiming for a grand narrative. Find joy in being useful today.
Being useful today.
Yes, this is where the core Adlerian concept of contribution, of community feeling, really comes into play. The book strongly asserts that fulfillment is a byproduct of contribution, not achievement.
A byproduct, not the goal itself.
Precisely. It's not about reaching some predefined monumental peak, some ultimate destination. It's about the inherent joy, the deep satisfaction, the profound meaning found in the process of actively contributing to something larger than yourself, to your community, to others, right here, right now, in the present moment.
Redirects focus again.
From the elusive destination to the inherent value you create and the connections you foster along the way.
This unfiltered perspective, it profoundly changes how we view our daily tasks, right? Our mundane routines, even our big long-term goals. It puts this unwavering emphasis on presence over endless, exhausting striving. Instead of seeing your daily grind, your job, your chores, your efforts as just a means to a distant future end, that receding happiness destination, you're invited, challenged even, to find joy, meaning, purpose in the very act of living, of being useful, of contributing every single
This
day.
fundamental shift from when I achieve X, then I'll be happy
To I am finding fulfillment and meaning in what I do now, in this moment.
Exactly. This radical reorientation liberates you from the relentless tyranny of a conditional future and anchors you firmly, powerfully in the present. It allows for a richness of experience, a depth of satisfaction that's so often missed when you're perpetually looking ahead, perpetually waiting for life to begin. It's challenging, sure, but deeply grounding, profoundly accessible.
Yeah.
So it forces you, the listener, to critically reevaluate your own ingrained definitions of purpose and happiness. If purpose isn't some grand, preordained destiny waiting to be discovered, but rather the cumulative sum of small, intentional acts of usefulness and contribution today. How does that change your approach to life, to work, to relationships?
Right. It changes everything.
And if happiness isn't a state to be achieved after certain conditions are met, after goals are fulfilled, but rather a quality that spontaneously emerges from being fully engaged and contributing now, what implications does that hold for your daily choices, your priorities, your sense of fulfillment?
It pushes you to act now.
This perspective urges you to consider what small, tangible ways can I feel useful, connected, significant right now? Instead of passively waiting for some elusive future that might never arrive as imagined, it's a profound invitation to discover deep meaning and authentic joy in the everyday, in the seemingly ordinary acts of just being human, contributing to the world around you.
Here's another powerful yet incredibly demanding message of agency from the book. It feels both terrifying in its directness and maybe immensely empowering.
Okay, let's hear it.
Personality isn't fixed. Habits aren't destiny. You're not a slave to your past.
The you can change principle. Huge.
This cuts right through those comfortable, often self-limiting excuses we make. That's just how I am, or I can't change, it's too ingrained. It says unequivocally, your identity, your character, your future are not predetermined by your history or some fixed traits. It basically hands you the keys to your own transformation.
And this leads directly to the philosopher's reality check, which is about as blunt and unsparing as it gets.
Go on.
You choose to stay the same.
You choose to stay stuck.
That's the direct implication. No softening, stagnation, lack of progress, persistent unhappiness, clinging to old patterns. It's not an external imposition, something inflicted on you. It's presented as an active internal decision you are making, often unconsciously.
That's hard to swallow, maybe infuriating.
It can be, because it strips away the comfortable narrative of victimhood, the idea you're just a passive recipient of circumstances. The student in the dialogue, reflecting that very common human experience, predictably resorts to what the book calls whining.
Okay, what's the whining?
But changing is hard.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable, it's scary, it feels impossible.
Which, honestly, it often does feel that way.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And the philosopher's response is stark, unapologetically raw, cuts right to the quick. So is staying stuck. Pick your pain.
Pick your pain. Wow.
It's not minimizing the real difficulty or discomfort of change. It's fundamentally reframing the choice. Every single day you are making a choice. You are actively choosing some form of discomfort, either the discomfort of growth, transformation, embracing the unknown, or the equally real discomfort of remaining stuck, stagnant, repeating old, unhelpful patterns. The core takeaway, the undeniable truth screaming from these pages is, change isn't a future plan, it's a now or never decision.
Now or never.
It's an urgent, exhilarating, demanding call to immediate action, emphasizing that the power to initiate radical transformation, to step onto a different path, exists in this very moment, right now.
This connects directly to your profound ability as the listener to initiate change immediately, right this instant. It highlights the urgency, the personal power embedded in this uncompromising philosophy.
No more waiting.
It's not about waiting for the perfect moment or for motivation to strike or for circumstances to magically align. It's about the stark, liberating recognition that every single day you delay, every day you put off that change, is another day you are actively, consciously or unconsciously choosing to remain in your current state, your current discomfort, your current stagnation.
It removes the excuses.
Completely. This idea is incredibly demanding precisely because it means you can no longer comfortably push off your transformation to tomorrow or when I feel ready or when things are easier. It says with unwavering directness. If you genuinely want change, if you truly desire a different outcome, the time is now.
It's a stark, powerful reminder
that true agency, true freedom, true self-actualization lie in recognizing you are, in this very moment, the architect of your current reality, and thus the only one who can truly, definitively, courageously shift it.
This perspective really challenges us to identify with radical honesty, where in our lives we might currently be choosing to stay the same.
Yeah, where are we stuck by choice?
Is it that stagnant career you complain about but don't leave?
Yeah.
The toxic relationship you cling to out of fear? A limiting belief about yourself you constantly reinforce? The book posits your current state isn't a prison you're helplessly trapped in. It's more like a room you are consciously or unconsciously choosing not to leave.
So what are the implications of really embracing that?
It forces you to weigh the very real pain of staying stuck against the equally real, albeit different, pain of changing, and to Consciously, deliberately pick your pain. This isn't just abstract theory. It's an immediate, urgent call to action, an invitation to recognize you possess the inherent power right now to make a different choice, take a different step, and proactively begin building the life you truly desire, the life aligned with your deepest values.
Okay. And for those seeking the ultimate path to feeling worthy, feeling valuable, significant, the book offers a very direct, powerfully unfiltered answer, one that cuts through a lot of modern self-help.
What's the answer?
You want to feel worthy, then contribute, help people, serve something bigger than yourself.
Contribution again, the antidote.
It's a profound, invigorating shift from all the inward-looking introspection, the endless self-analysis that often characterizes contemporary approaches to self-improvement, right?
Totally. Less navel-gazing, more action.
It's a bold, unambiguous call to action that directs your energy outward. Beyond your own perceived shortcomings, your anxieties, your feelings of inadequacy, it's focused on action, not just internal processing.
And this leads to the philosopher's fire, a statement delivered with almost scorching intensity.
Okay.
Stop looking inward. That's where depression festers.
Wow. That directly contradicts so much advice.
Directly, unapologetically, contradicts much of modern psychology's emphasis on introspection, rumination, self-analysis as the only path to healing. Adlerian psychology, as presented here, argues that excessive inward focus can, for many, become a self-perpetuating cycle, a self-fulfilling prophecy, trapping people in these debilitating cycles of rumination, self-pity, a heightened awareness of their own flaws.
So the student resists this too.
Naturally,
Yeah.
offers that common, understandable resistance. But I'm not ready to help others. I need to heal myself first. I need to feel whole before I can give.
Which sounds reasonable.
It sounds reasonable, but the philosopher's counter is incredibly powerful, almost revolutionary in its simplicity. You don't need to be healed to serve. Serving is the healing.
Serving is the healing, not the result of healing.
Exactly, a radical reframe. It profoundly suggests that the very act of turning outward, actively contributing to others, to community, to a cause larger than yourself, it's not merely a consequence of feeling better. It's an active, potent mechanism for becoming better, for healing, for finding purpose. It's a practical, actionable, profoundly empowering antidote to those pervasive feelings of unworthiness, stagnation, existential angst.
This delivers a direct, unfiltered call to action then. Leaves absolutely no room for hesitation, no space for excuses. Get out of your head. Go contribute.
Simple, powerful.
This radical shift in focus from personal pain and self-preoccupation to external contribution is presented as this powerful, almost miraculous remedy for feeling unworthy, for chronic anxiety, for deep-seated stagnation. It argues true fulfillment, genuine meaning and purpose isn't found by endlessly dissecting your own problems, by navel-gazing or waiting for some internal shift. Instead, it's found by actively engaging with the world, participating, making a positive impact, however small it seems.
Right. Stop overthinking, start doing.
Exactly. Stop analyzing, stop agonizing, simply start doing. This pragmatic approach can alleviate that paralyzing grip of self-doubt and introspection and replace it with a vital sense of purpose, a tangible feeling of utility, a profound sense of connection. It's about proving your worth through tangible action, not internal validation or endless self-analysis.
It challenges the listener, you, to find even a small, tangible way to contribute, to be useful, even before you feel perfectly ready or healed or confident.
Like what? Small things.
Maybe volunteering an hour, offering a kind word to a stranger, sharing a skill you have, simply being fully present and truly listening for someone else. The book suggests the very act of focusing on another's needs or on a larger cause actively breaks that cycle of self-absorption and rumination that leads to distress, isolation.
So just step out and see what happens.
What would truly happen if, instead of waiting for perfect self-actualization, that elusive moment of complete inner peace, you simply stepped out, even hesitantly, and observed the immediate reciprocal impact of helping someone, of being useful? This principle suggests the most direct, most effective path to feeling inherently worthy, to experiencing profound belonging and meaning, is paved not with endless introspection, but with tangible, courageous acts of generosity, utility, and genuine connection. Okay, so to synthesize this entire powerful philosophy, this framework for living, the book leaves us with an utterly unequivocal, no-bullshit conclusion.
Okay, lay it on us.
Quit whining, start living.
Direct, simple, no ambiguity.
None. It's an incredibly direct summation. Doesn't pull punches, doesn't offer comfortable outs. This book, like its title implies, truly rips the Band-Aid off every excuse you've ever made, every comfortable narrative you've clung to. It forces you to unflinchingly confront the often uncomfortable yet ultimately liberating truths about personal responsibility, self-determination, the radical nature of true freedom.
It's a wake-up call.
Precisely crafted to shake you out of complacency, out of stagnation, and into immediate, intentional, decisive action.
And the recap of these core, unfiltered truths, delivered with such bracing clarity, it's a jolt to the system, right?
Definitely.
Your past isn't special. Your pain doesn't make you unique. You don't need to be understood. You need to take responsibility.
Oof. Yeah, still hits hard.
These statements, they seem harsh, maybe brutally dismissive to people who find comfort in their personal stories of suffering, but they're presented not as a dismissal of your experience.
Not at all. They're presented as the direct, undeniable gateway to ultimate freedom.
Okay.
The book argues that by letting go of the desperate need for your struggles to be recognized, validated, treated as uniquely profound, then you can truly, definitively, courageously take charge of your life. It's about empowerment through radical self-ownership, actively shedding the debilitating victim mentality to embrace the powerful, unburdened agent within.
So the pain isn't ignored.
No, not trivialized.
Yeah.
But its power to define your present and dictate your future is utterly stripped away. It's about recognizing your power to define your life, not letting your past define it.
Yeah.
What's truly fascinating here, and what makes Adlerian psychology so distinct, is how it fundamentally dares you to live a life that's entirely authentically yours. Not built to satisfy someone else's expectations, conform to norms, or win approval.
Back to that core idea.
It reinforces that critical, counterintuitive idea. If you want real freedom, true liberation, you've got to be okay being misunderstood, okay being disliked, even okay being actively rejected by some.
That's the courageous path.
The road less traveled, precisely because it demands you stand firm in your authenticity, your values, your choices, even when it means facing disapproval, criticism, outright antagonism. That is the essence of true liberation, where your worth isn't derived from external sources, social currency, conditional acceptance.
But from where?
Profoundly from your own self-acceptance, your own integrity, and the life you courageously, authentically choose to live. It's a freedom that can't be given, only claimed.
So as the book powerfully concludes, with its direct, urgent, utterly unapologetic message for you, the listener, it leaves us with this final chart.
A final mic drop.
Stop explaining yourself. Stop waiting for permission. Stop blaming everyone and everything. The courage to be disliked is the courage to be free, and the clock is ticking. Live your damn life.
Boom.
It's a profound mic drop, a challenge, an invitation, all rolled into one. It tells you unequivocally the power to change, to truly live, is in your hands, right now, in this very moment. And the only thing stopping you is you.
Whew. Heavy stuff.
Well, that was, yeah, truly challenging, but ultimately incredibly liberating, I think. This deep dive into the uncompromising principles of Adlerian psychology and the courage to be disliked, it certainly doesn't sugarcoat anything, does it?
Not one bit. It's bracing.
But confronting these unfiltered truths, as difficult as they can be to swallow sometimes, it really does seem to open up a new, profoundly empowering pathway to personal agency, to an authentic freedom that feels, well, tangible.
It absolutely does. And maybe for you, the listener, as you mull over these powerful, no-holds-barred principles, these stark realities the book lays bare, maybe consider this for your own life.
Okay.
What's one excuse you've been holding on to, perhaps unconsciously, that's preventing you from moving forward? Or maybe what's one task, one burden of responsibility that isn't truly yours that you are now ready to completely own or definitively release from your life, starting right now, in this very moment?
A great question to end on, one that demands a real answer from each of us, I suppose. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We truly hope it sparks some powerful, transformative reflections for you.